Good morning traders, Joseph here from Eightcap. So don't need to explain too much. I think the majority of you would know what happened last night, primarily on equity markets. The current selling that we're seeing has continued. It's not only continued but it's accelerated. Potentially have we seen a blow off on this bar last night? We saw over 4% drops on the Dow, Nasdaq and the S&P 500, and we've come back all the way down to test points in August not seen since August last year. I think it's gone a bit past the coronavirus, to be honest with you now. I think that was one of the main driving factors that got this underway, but if we have a look at the weekly, we can see we've had a market that's been rallying for a very long, extended period of time. And it was not very long ago that we just tested new record highs, and what we've seen since last week basically has just been one-way traffic. And I think what started as a sell-off has just turned into, just snowballed into something a little bit more. I think we're all pretty familiar with the how avalanches work. This is starting to look a lot like that. Just definitely in the past couple of days, how strong the selling has been. Now, as well overnight, we'll get on to a couple of markets in a moment, but the Russians attacked a Turkish position in Syria. That's added to a bit of uncertainty. And we've also heard that the ECBs came out and said that they're not going to change policy at this point in time due to the coronavirus worries. Also, some positive news came out that Israel said that they're going to have a vaccine for the coronavirus shortly. So that's a bit of positivity as well out there. But so far, we've just seen this week so far on the US 30, we've now moved into an area of 11% in falls. It did get down to close to that 12% point this morning. So that's definitely moved into the correction territory, which is normally seen at 10%. So it's safe to say that the US 30 and the other two main US markets are now in correction territory. But we don't really need to read percentages to sort of get an idea about that based on what we've seen this week. So this wasn't really just for US markets. We saw some absolutely strong selling on the local ASX as well, and we've really just torn through that entire rally that we saw from last year, starting in October. It basically broke that low this morning, so the ASX opened another 2.97% lower, and this has been the same on most equity markets, main equity markets. So we're looking at the German 30 at the moment, and we'll just have a quick look at some of the Asian indexes, so the Nikkei as well, and the story is basically the same across each board. A lot of belting going on. So we now, with this amount of selling that we've been seeing, especially on the US markets, we've just got to start to wonder if markets have hit some sort of exhaustion, and will we see just a counter rally develop. Now, we're not trying to pick any type of low. It's extremely dangerous trying to do that in these types of market events, but it gets to a point where there is just too much sellers, and any type of short-term buying starts to buy out stop losses of sell positions. So we will just have to keep a good eye on it and see when we do see a bit of a flicker from buyers. But it has been quite a spectacle to watch, and it has been, especially on the US side of market side of things, really just quite amazing at just how fast and parabolic it's been just in its descent. So it's definitely been one of the sharper declines I can remember for a fair period of time, even when we look back to that sell-off that started at the end of 2018-19. That was another sharp one, but we did see a traditional counter rally at this point here. We just haven't seen that so far yet, so we'll just have to see when we do get that counter rally coming back in. Now, it wasn't all doom and gloom. It was a bit of doom for oil. So oil, as we can see here, followed equity markets lower. So another strong session of selling last night, and it's also taken the weekly decline in oil down to a pretty solid number now. So we're talking, that 12% point so far this week falls in oil. But as I thought about 2 days ago when I was filling up the car, we haven't really seen a reflection that on petrol prices, especially in Australia. It was still around $1.40 plus for diesel. So crushing oil hasn't really filtered through just yet. So we are down, back to levels, seen, around December 2018. We're getting close to those areas now. If we do, we would look for potentially that point to probably offer support if it was tested again. That area I would be looking for demand to come in. We have seen demand around that level of 43 for a fair period of time, going all the way back to the 13th of November 2016. So we'll see if we get another move down, but we'd be looking for definitely buyers to defend from that level if reached. Now, moving on to some of the better news now. The euro continued to soar. It's having a fantastic week, and that was pushed again higher yesterday. So it's up 1.61% this week, and that was pushed higher again after the ECB commented that they're not going to change their policy due to the current situation. And basically that just opened the floodgates for buyers to jump back in. And we saw that really spectacular rally last night. So the USD, it was another strange night for currencies, to be honest with you. So we had a stronger USD to certain markets, and we had a weaker USD to other markets. So we can see the Aussie was higher, but we saw the pound was pretty flat after it gave back a decent rally. And with oil down so heavily, we saw a very strong rally on the USDCAD. We have GDP coming out tonight for Canada. So. And we've finally seen a break of this resistance point at that 3335 point, and it not only cleared it but really broke above it quite with a lot of vigor. And we're now, we did see a small break of that 3383 point, and that's really set up quite nicely now, that continuation pattern that's set up that high low there. So we will keep an eye on how markets now react, or buyers now, how they react to this new move higher. Again, is it possibly some exhaustion when we see a pullback? But for now, the dollar CAD definitely remains in a medium term to long term uptrend now. It's continuing higher. Over on the yen, we saw some moves lower. It's not on the Aussie, not surprisingly. The euro held up, gave back a bit of a rally, and the pound moved lower, testing that low here. So that's a support low that's been around for a fair period of time now, traders. So we look for buyers to hold that. A break below that starts to open up something a little bit more different. And we also saw some declines from the USD to the yen. So it was an interesting, bit of a strange night on currencies. That they weren't moving, traditionally as they normally do, with a bit of mixed results to both safe haven currencies. Now, I'm just going to finish on gold. Now, you would have expected, after some of the moves we've seen with gold and a lower USD and much lower stocks, that gold should have jumped last night, but it didn't. We saw a small rally that was pulled back, and we've seen, it's currently consolidating inside this bar here. So gold sort of lost some of its drive. We want to see how it reacts going forward to next week, and resistance definitely set now from that 1659.50 point, and we still have some very minor support down at 1634, but at the moment it's consolidating. And we'll just have to see how buyers and sellers are going to take it on the next point. So the current medium-term trend is up, but we are seeing a fair bit of sort of hesitation and resistance from this area here. So we would like to see, a proper break at this level and close, just to suggest that this current trend is going to continue. But if we see another fail or fade and a breakthrough this level here, we could be seeing the start of another short-term correction. So as with Canadian GDP, we do have Chinese data coming out on Saturday, and that will be getting closely monitored due to the current coronavirus to see how it's impacting the world's second largest economy. So that's it for now. We hope you have a fantastic trading day, and enjoy your weekend. Until next week, good trading, and bye for now.